You are now entering the spoiler zone. The following podcast contains explicit plot details and pockets of profanity. You have been warned. The Exton Moss Experiment. Adventures in Wine and Space with Simon Exton and Ken Moss. Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to another edition of the Exton Moss Experiment. I'm Ken Moss.
I'm Simon Exton.
And I'm Alan Fogg.
This time we are watching the 2011 BBC series, The Hour. This was a drama broadcast on the BBC, and the series centred on the then new current affairs show being launched by the BBC in June 1956, at the time of the Hungarian Revolution and Suez Crisis. It starred Ben Whishaw, Dominic West and Romola Garai, with a supporting cast including Tim Pigott-Smith, Juliet Stevenson, Bern Gorman, Anton Lesser and the Chancellor Julian Rhind-Tutt and Una Chaplin. This ran for 2 series of 6-hour-long episodes each, and we're going to watch the whole lot. It's time for a drink. It's time to get out the tonic screwdriver and open up the gin bottle. This time we're drinking the Melodist London Dry Gin. It's 40%, and the info bollocks says, a blend of fine botanicals, sourced from around the world, notes of classic juniper, coriander seed and angelica, work in perfect harmony with top notes of yuzu green tea for a distinctive, characterful symphony. Right. Again, flowering was... It's very nicely presented. It comes in a blue bottle with sort of musical motifs on it. But first things first, Dr. Exton, how does it smell?
Like gin.
Yeah, very little out of that, really.
Slightly limey. Not anything on the nasal appraisal, taste-wise, I'm getting slightly lime. Which I like.
Oh,
I like
yeah, I can see where you're coming from. There's a vaguest whisper of... But it is only a vague tinge.
No, I think there's quite a bit of lime there.
Do you like lime?
Oh, actually, it does come through the more you sip, yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that Whitley Neal Brazilian lime, which just tasted like a gin and tonic with a slice of lime in it. This tastes like a gin and tonic with a slice of lime in it.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice. It's just very middle of the road. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5.
Yeah, three from me as well.
I like a bit of lime. That's 4. I'd quite happily knock that back. So, yeah.
Good. Because we have a guest with us, and also because we can't be arsed, we're not going to bother with the Black Archive this week. We're just going to launch straight into 12 lovely episodes of The Hour.
Yeah, Spaff is not particularly stranger-friendly.
No, there is that. Remember last time? The leg, the reel of film, and the puddle. We'll not go there. Run, VT.
May I have your attention? To the dawn of a new era. The hour is coming.
It has to be the hour that you can't miss.
Freddie is infuriating, but he sees the extraordinary in the ordinary.
You don't like me, do you?
It's not personal.
Everyone needs to get to the studio. We're live in 30 minutes.
Welcome to The Hour, the most important 60 minutes of news of your week.
You're increasingly reckless, Mr. Madden.
You're in the middle of a very dangerous world.
They will kill me if they know I'm talking to you. 5.
So what you do?
4.
Frighten people.
3, 2, 1.
You don't know what you've got yourself into.
Right. Well, we've just watched both series of The Hour. I'm reasonably impressed. Now, I've given a brief précis, but Dr. Exton, do you want to tell us roughly what it's about?
No. And the reason I don't want to is because it's reasonably recent and I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, because it is very good. It's, like the précis said, it's the story of the setting up and the teething problems of a new weekly news programme on the BBC. And the behind-the-scenes political stuff that's going on, the struggle to report any current news in the background of things like the Hungarian uprising, the Suez Crisis, and when you come on to the later seasons, there's a big subplot about racial discrimination. There's a big subplot about blackmail of one of the characters who happens to be gay. The first series, it has a large part of the plot about uncovering a spy ring. The second series has a large part of the plot about the characters getting involved with a vice ring. But these are all sort of skeleton plots to hang the main story of the setting up of the news programme on.
The cast in this is bloody lovely. There are some really good people in it. Romola Garai, I'm not familiar with outside this, but she's great as the producer.
After this, she went more into writing and production, although she was one of the cast of The Last of the Blonde Bombshells, which we'll do at some point.
Not seen it.
It's fun. It's Ian Holm and Judi Dench.
Oh, right.
Ian Holm in drag.
And Dame Judi Dench.
So 2 dames then. We've got Ben Whishaw in this as Freddie. Again, superb bit of casting. Dominic West as Hector. Anton Lesser, he's the boss in the first series, who I thought had a hint of Jonathan Pryce about him on screen. Julian Ryan Tutt runs through it. Lisa Greenwood will be familiar to fans of the Colin Baker Doctor Who audios.
As bloody Flip Jackson.
I know you're not keen, but she does.
She does a good job. It's the character that I don't like. It's a very watered down Ace copy.
Yeah, we've covered this ground before. But Anna Chancellor's in it. Dogface. Bern Gorman's in it. Juliet Stevenson, Tim Pigott-Smith. Peter Capaldi. He plays the boss in the second series. So a real good, solid cast in this. And Alan, as you pointed out as we were going through, it captures the time very well of smoking in the office.
Oh, good grief. Everybody's all chain smoking, men and women. They're just constantly lighting up. When was this set? 1950s?
Mid-50s, yeah.
Mid-50s. I think they did a really good job. And was this BBC or was this Netflix?
No, BBC, this one.
I guess because it had all the hallmarks of being real good quality. So it had to be, I hoped it would be BBC, and I'm pleased that it is then. I like the attention to detail of the time where they're all busy smoking cigarettes, and some of the comments in there you would not make now because they're just so very sexist, and it's just like, it's a bit cringeworthy going, oh my God, that's how the time was and things have moved on. In terms of, some of the comments that are made to her and just move on little girl type thing. It's good to see her challenging the status quo of the time.
But I really quite like, and it doesn't happen as often as it should really, I like modern dramas that do full on try and recapture the time rather than what a lot of dramas seem to be doing at the minute, 21st century washing old thing and dropping in characters that would never have got away with, say, strong women characters in a very male-dominated environment where they're overtly rude or bolshy and they'd never have got away with it. Or a gay character in a situation where there's one particular episode of Torchwood where Captain Jack and a soldier in the Second World War, they're dancing and they kiss on the dance floor.
Never would have done that.
I think there might have been some sort of comeback from that.
Well, I'm sure there was after hours, but yes.
So that sort of stuff I generally detest because it takes you right out. The whole chain smoking thing and those little beryl cups and saucers, the green cups and saucers that you see everywhere, that's very reminiscent to me of school and the very early offices that I worked in. To the point where I've even acquired a couple of those for home use on special occasions. Yeah. But the setting, the feel, I think they captured that sort of early days of the BBC, or certainly early days of BBC TV, really quite well.
And 1950s London. So the bit in the first episode where he's walking home and he's walking past bomb-damaged buildings.
Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
I didn't see that, didn't notice that. But yeah, obviously it's in there because you notice it. That attention to detail is, again, typical get it right. And that's what you feel. You feel like you're looking at something that was of that time. You can't see anything that's not correct in there in terms of the comments and what they're saying and doing.
And what was that Stephen Polyakov thing that we watched that was set just after the Second World War that had a similar level of attention to detail?
Oh, the one with the hotel?
Yeah, my brain's stuck on Joe's Palace, which is the follow-on to it.
There's one with the hotel in the centre of London with the bomb damage out the back, wasn't it? Yeah, it was very good.
Like most Polyakov stuff, it was a really good piece of television.
Yeah.
I don't think we've not covered any Polyakov.
No, I don't think we have. I can't think that off the top of my head, no.
I mean, I know we've talked about Shooting the Past quite a bit, but
what did we watch the other day? Oh, The Sandbaggers. We've watched, at the time of recording, watched fairly recently. And you pointed out that even at the time of recording, it was only sort of about 30 years after the end of the war. There still would have been the odd bits of scar tissue from the war.
Yeah, because we were trying to work out where they'd filmed the East Berlin sequences with all the rubble and everything. And there would be chunks of the country where there was still rubble from war damage.
Fortunately, it just need to go to Ukraine if they want to do something period. Now, the state of that place, but that's a debate for another day. Anyway.
A little gift from cuddly Uncle Vlad.
This is not something I can see ending anytime soon.
Needs Group to get his little tank out. Hello, hello.
You think it'll be solved by a Nazi?
It's only going to end one way, let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I think whatever happens, it's bye-bye Vlad.
Well, there's no comeback from this for him.
Moderately big fuck up. Yes.
Anyway, back to the hour.
Back in the room.
Back in the room. But as period dramas go, this is why I sing the praise of the BBC so much, because they do take an almost anal level of attention to detail.
And not just in the way that it looks, but the way that it sounds.
And feels.
Yeah, the music they have in the background. I mean, it looks gorgeous. The plot is brilliant on all of the levels. So the spy stuff and sort of revealing who's behind what, and there's a lot of involvement with the aristocracy and with academia, and it all works together brilliantly. And each plot strand comes together. And I was kind of surprised it got a second series because everything was tied up at the end of the first series.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't one of these, we'll leave a few plot strands open that we can bring into a second series. No, everything was tied up. You knew who's behind what and whose role in what was where and everything. And they brought back the second series. And the second series was really good.
They're right to have stopped it where it was, because otherwise it would just start depreciating after that and would have tainted the whole series.
Well, I think it had depreciated. I don't think the second series is as good as the first. I don't think it's as tightly plotted.
But you've done all the setup of the characters, so the second series had to be story-driven. The first series was a lot of setting up the interplay between all the various characters and how they all slot in, and a lot of time was taken up with that. Once you've done all that, a second series has to therefore fill all that time with plot.
No, there was the Anna Chancellor, Peter Capaldi plot strands.
That was there, yeah. But again, interplay between characters, it needed to be there, really.
But there was their personal history, which was a development of her character from season one. And her character, I mean, she played a brilliant character, but she turned up on episode one basically fully formed and didn't really change very much throughout the series. And she was there as their guiding light and mother confessor and sort of den mother, really. And then she comes into her own and with her own bit of personal history.
All the senior BBC bods, though, they were all very much bang on the money.
Julian Rhind-Tutt was brilliant.
Yeah, very oily character. But I thought that Anton Lesser and Peter Capaldi played the boss role perfectly with the, not horn-rimmed, but the type of glasses that they wore and the brill-creamed hair and the...
Stoicism.
Yes. And it's very much what you sort of get in your head as what a BBC exec would have looked like in those days.
And how he spoke and dealt with people.
And John Bown doing the father-in-law on one side, but also boss on the other, really reminded me of season one of The Sandbaggers, where you've got Burnside's boss being one, his boss, and two, his father-in-law. And there's that brilliant sequence in the final episode of season one where Burnside refuses to cooperate with something he doesn't agree with and said, sorry, the cost is too much. And then he has to go back and ask for a favour from his father-in-law, who just says, well, let me just make sure I've got this quote right. The cost is too high. And John Bown kind of had the feeling of that kind of role.
There was a lot of interplay and interconnectivity between the characters. Every single character in some way was interlinked with the rest of the main cast. They weren't just an ensemble piece. They all seemed they had connections between themselves. And the amount of drinking that they did. Oh. Now, I've got a fairly good tolerance level.
Pot, kettle.
I like to stay match fit, but I could not drink to the level that they do and function. As
I
a,
certainly couldn't. You could. Dr. X.
Rude.
it's not a question of staying upright or being compos mentis. It's just actually doing your job. You know, keeping bottles of whiskey in the drawer sort of thing and having a toss every time things get a little... Oh, we've had a bit of a row this morning. I think I'll just have a shot of whiskey and...
So I remember the days where working in London, working for a bank, I'm going back to Millennium just after, you would go out and go to the pub and have a few pints at lunchtime and carry on in the afternoon.
You see, I remember when I worked for Whitbread, the senior managers would all have their tasting samples on their desk. They'd all be wankered by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Well, I say that. I do have my hip flask in a drawer at work with 2 little shot glasses that Dr. Exton gifted to me. And the code word at the end of a bad day is Optrex. But of course, nobody knows that.
Well, they do now.
They do now, all 20,000 of our listeners. But yeah, the lunchtime pint thing. It's been a long time since I've done a liquid lunch. But now a pint or 2 that's a write-off for the afternoon.
I'd be wanting a siesta. That's what normally happens when we go to a pub at lunchtime. I'll be horizontal for a couple of hours afterwards.
Oh, I can't do lunchtime drinking. I used to. I mean, at the factory, Friday lunchtime, we always used to go out for a drink.
I prefer daytime drinking now to nighttime drinking. Got to be honest, I've hit that plateau, and it's lovely, and it's a nice, gentle afternoon graze with whoever we're out with. But I couldn't know a liquid, because I used to know people, and they'd go out and they'd have 2 or 3 pints at lunch, and then come back and work in the warehouse, and you just think, how? But they didn't have anything mental to do. It was only stacking shelves. But there was one particular fella. He had an over-appreciation, shall we say, and he came back after a 5-pint lunch and then got on a forklift and dropped a pallet from the top of the racking with 48 100-litre drums of cooking oil.
Oh, messy.
And I just watched it happen as this tidal wave of oil came down the aisle towards the front checkouts. Yeah, every bag of cat litter in the place was used that day. So.
Did he still have a job at the end of it?
No.
No, fair enough.
But not that day. He didn't get fired that day.
Oh.
He got a disciplinary for that.
Yes.
He got fired for something. I think he drove a forklift into one of the delivery bays. And they're a 12-foot drop. So the forklift didn't survive.
I thought you were about to say they drove a forklift into one of the delivery drivers.
The delivery drivers were strong enough to survive, but a forklift into a delivery bay, that's not strong enough. No, it was just this tangle of metal. So yes, bye-bye forklift, bye-bye job. Yes, so anyway, away from lunchtime drinking and back to the hour. I know that you two are probably not all that sad that it didn't go to a further series. I could have watched more of this.
I think it would have been a case of diminishing returns. I think they'd done as much as they could with it, because by the end of the second series, they'd really done as much as they could with the storyline of setting up the news channel, which is the major ongoing storyline throughout both series. Now, yeah, you could have had story of the week, argument of the week with Julian Ryan Tutt, but it would have become very repetitive, and you'd have got diminishing returns. It's like Fawlty Towers. Better to stop on a high than to go on and produce repetitive stuff.
No, that's a fair enough point. Alan, what do you think?
I'm in agreement. I think the first one was absolutely brilliant. The second one was a good follower. I think they would have then got to a point where they're writing further ones, and the last thing that you'll remember will be the last series, which will taint the great work of the other ones. I think they were right to draw a line under it at that time. It's like a lot of great things with watching times, you just wish for yet another series and yet another series, but end it on a high, not win it to the point of, nah, that's enough.
Yeah, it's like the final series of The West Wing, the final series of Lost. All of those diminished everything that went on before, because it got to a natural break point, and then they went beyond it. The Matrix, unbelievably brilliant first film. Every sequel has diminished it since.
Born Identity is another one. The spin-offs from that.
Weeping Angels. If they'd left it at Blink, they would be unbelievably iconic, but they didn't. And every time they appeared again, it diminished the effect and the power that the Weeping Angels had.
Yeah, it's fair enough that actually. Yeah, you both made a good point and convinced me. Yeah, it did go out on a high, and we have seen it with I suppose really, it's good that I've been left wanting more, and I do like it when a series leaves me wishing that there were more of it, for good or bad. And what you've just said there, Alan, about the last series, if they'd gone out on another series and it wasn't as good, that would have been the thing that stuck in people's mind. I'd never really thought about it like that before, but it is true, because as it currently stands at the time of recording, the last memory that we've got of Doctor Who is, 5 years of dross, which has tainted everything that's gone before it.
Yeah.
And left, certainly me, feeling about a series I've loved my entire life. It's not what it used to be. But no, what you both just said there about it, the law of diminishing returns. Yeah, I'll take that on the chin. Yeah. I do think the format would lend itself to news story of the week. But having had the 2 series of really good story arcs over 6 episodes, could they have really stepped down to story of the week without doing it?
It would have to have been done as a spin-off rather than a continuation. So rather than the Hour Series 3, you have a separate story with spun-off characters from the Hour.
Which again,
that's the only way it could have worked.
And either way, that would have weakened it, because you'd have been yearning for the characters in the first 2 series. So you would, because whenever there's a spin-off series, really what you're hoping for is that characters from the primary series will cross over. It's like Torchwood and the Sarah Jane Adventures. They were good in their own right, but when characters from the parent series appeared, it was, wow, yeah, there were more of them. And all of a sudden it was better because the proper characters were in it.
Well, with Sarah Jane, it was what? Joe and the Doctor turned up.
2 of the Doctors turned up, yeah.
Yeah. How excited would people have been if Mickey or Martha had turned up?
True, but
and I think you're talking about, with Joe, you're talking about fan excitement rather than real people excitement.
True. Again, they're probably bad examples, because they're Who crossovers, and the audience for those is going to be much wider than any other children's programme that was on.
Okay, so think about a different franchise.
All right, like Cheers and Frasier. I never watched either of them, but how many of the Cheers cast appeared in Frasier? Alan, did you watch?
No.
No.
3 or 4. Kirstie Alley certainly did. Ted Danson did. I think Woody Harrelson did.
But I bet it was a major event when they did. No, because I know Frasier. I think Frasier went on longer than Cheers, didn't it?
And Frasier went on for years and years and years. So 3 or 4 episodes out of that, yeah. Whereas Torchwood, it had, 30 episodes total, something like that?
It wouldn't have been many, yeah. Well, all right, let's take something like Star Trek. Now, the biggest rated episodes of, I don't want to call them spin-offs because they're series in their own right, but take things like the Deep Space Nine one, where they went back to the Enterprise and had...
Tribble episode.
Yeah. I don't know what it was called.
Trials and Tribulations.
A magnificent piece of television, I've got to say.
Yeah, but that was one of their big anniversary episodes. Was that their 30th anniversary, 35th anniversary, something like that? It was advertised as a big, this is us celebrating not just what we're doing now, but our past as well. It was kind of the equivalent of the 5 Doctors. So that wasn't a standalone episode. The standalone equivalent would be when...
Scotty, Yesterday's Enterprise, was it?
No, Yesterday's Enterprise was a big deal. It was a season finale. No, the one where Scotty turns up.
Oh, is that not Yesterday's Enterprise? What's that one called? Alan, you're the Star Trek expert.
I'm trying to think of which one you're on about here.
Where Scotty's in a transporter and stuck, and they beam him down about 80 years after he's been put in the transporter, and he's out of his depth. And he goes on the holodeck and recreates the Enterprise A.
Don't remember.
And it's the whole, because he has a conversation with Geordie LaForge. How are you ever going to get known as a miracle worker if you give them realistic timescales in the first place?
It's a fan favourite because it's a...
Oh, it's a hark back to the past.
Yeah.
That's like episodes where Spock turned up and that kind of thing.
Yeah. And
which they did in some of the films, didn't they?
Yeah. Having said that, did he actually come back in any of the TV series?
Don't remember so much on TV series. Certainly did in the big films, because we went to cinema and saw a few of them. I mean, that's going back, a good 10 years ago.
Well, we went to the Albert Hall to see one of them.
No, we did indeed, yes. Yeah. Well, that's what he came. Obviously, he won't do now, because unfortunately he's gone up in ashes. Well, then was dead, doesn't he?
Yeah, but what's that got to do with us not going back to the Albert Hall?
Not at all.
But no,
So he
he's
won't be coming back now because he's gone up in ashes.
No, regrettably not. No. Well, we say that. Who knows what CG and audio tech is going to do in the future? I'm one of the people that's looking forward to that, actually. I think that genuinely recreating, I think it's going to take some fairly impressive AI to genuinely recreate a performance and a voice. If they can convincingly do it, bring it on. To be honest, I was quietly impressed with... Have either of you seen Rogue One?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Yes, we have.
Okay, what's that?
It was the Star Trek thing.
Star
Wars thing.
Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to see it to remember. Okay, I don't know.
It was
We've seen it.
The episode 3.5, basically. It was set between films. And it had a real Star Wars feel to it from the sort of New Hope era. But they had Peter Cushing's character in it. And I thought, they'd already been said, they're going to recreate him digitally. And so I thought, oh, well, it'll be, a cameo scene here and there. No, he's in the whole film.
Yeah.
And it looks okay.
It does look okay. I mean, we
and
obviously...
the Carrie Fisher recreation looks okay.
It's not as good, but it's okay. It's passable. But the Peter Cushing one, I think the only thing, they never quite get the mouth right. There's just something not quite right with mouths. They just don't look quite right. But if you didn't know he was dead, and you'd seen that film, I don't think you'd know.
That's really impressive.
Yeah. Obviously, we would have both been looking for it. And I did look for it, and I was studying that bloody character.
Yeah, but you've seen that film, and it didn't stand out to you to the point where you said anything.
No, it doesn't.
And you,
I would know.
While we're watching a film, you comment on every single little thing.
No, I do not. Because I get told off if I speak or pass wind or burp.
It didn't stop you.
True.
An insight into the home life of the Exton Fogs.
Yes. Chaos.
Anyway, so to wrap up, The Hour. I'm going to heartily recommend this to everybody at home. I loved this from start to finish. It's only 12 episodes long. They are an hour long each. And they are on, at the time of recording, they're on Amazon Prime. But the cheapest chips, the whole series is available on DVD. And I will always champion physical media over streaming. Boys, what did you think?
BBC at one of its best. I really enjoyed it. The quality was absolutely superb. Highly recommend watching it through.
Absolutely brilliant. We've deliberately not spoiled any of the plots for this because it's recent. It's something that people could go out and watch, and I would thoroughly recommend it. If it was shite, I'd have told you exactly what happened in it, but it isn't.
So on that note, kids, I'm going to sign us off. Thank you very much, as ever, for giving us your time. We'll be back soon with something else. Ta-ta.
Bye now.
Over and out.
The Exton Moss experiment featured Simon Exton and Ken Moss. All featured soundtracks are the property of their respective producers, and no infringement of copyright is intended. Title music was performed by the BBC Symphony Orchestra, and the programme was produced by Maverick Productions. For more information, please visit maverickproductionsuk.blogspot.com or find us on social media.